Welcome back to the GLAC Studios oil painting tutorial. I'm Gomati Sivasankaran. We are in class 9 of the Radha Krishna painting. We have been, just to summarize what we have been doing, um, we have selected a reference, a couple of references to work with, and we are juggling around with the references of Radha and Krishna. We're working on a large canvas. We did the layer 1, wherein we painted, overall with one color, monotone, filling in the threads of the canvas. And then we did quite a bit of strategizing and planning on what we need to do with the painting as such. Then we did the planning on the canvas through the superstructure first, and we are in the process of doing the second layer, which is essentially the blocking or filling in of spaces wherever we want whichever characters or objects to be presented. So we are doing that, and we are still continuing in that. We have been doing that in classes 7 and 8, and we are now continuing with that in class 9. And one thing about the blocking and filling that we are doing slightly differently is that we are not worrying about shades or where exactly is the light going to fall and where is dark, where is light, or so on. So we're just doing flat coloring, just like a 2D picture. So this is for the benefit of people who need step-by-step understanding. So it might slow down people who want to do um, this layer alongside the light and dark. So if you're someone who is curious about that, I would suggest that you are also looking into what we are doing in layer 3 videos as well. uh, just if you want to blend in both ideas, it's also good if you are already an expert, but otherwise I would suggest that you take it step by step, slow and steady, nice and easy, in this manner. And that's to summarize what we have been doing, and now to continue the process of blocking and filling in the remaining layers, where you can still see that we haven't worked. We are going to get started with that. And to start with, first I'm going to work on the eyes. We never worked on the eyes, nose, and so on, so we're going to work a little bit on the eyes. So I have, let's look at the materials for today. It's going to be the color range that I already have with me. I might take some of those colors, but I'm going to introduce, um, not really introduce, but I might take a little bit of burnt umber again, and also I would like to take sky blue or primary blue, yeah, that I want to use as a background, because this is something that I hadn't decided. In the reference picture, you would see that the coloring is more on the green side. I wanted to stay away from the green background, and that's also why I was deciding on it. So today you will see me using this when we come to the second layer of the background. Yeah, you will see me that doing that. Otherwise, we are going to be using burnt umber and a little bit of white. Why burnt umber? Especially on the places of hair. I will add a little bit of black, but then I want to use the black in the burnt umber. I'll show you why when we come to that. So first, while we're working on the eye, I don't want to go into the details, but I want to just fill the eye with zero brush. And I have a little bit of white left over. So that's the thing that I'm using. I haven't taken um, much, but if you need, you can take a little bit of white, or even slightly blend it with yellow ochre if you want, to make sure that it doesn't really become totally whitey white. It's not, eyes aren't necessarily a whitey white. So be aware of that. So maybe blend another color ever so lightly so it doesn't look so whitey white the way we get it, from the tube. And I'm going to fill the eye spaces on the sides, okay, leaving out the iris pupil. So I haven't done much on the iris and pupil. I'm just doing the, yeah, both the sides. Right now, before I get onto the burnt umber thing, I'm going to use a little bit of what I have here with me to see if I can blend in any color. I think I need a little bit of, if you haven't had anything in your palette today and it's clean, then I would suggest that you take a little bit, tiny bit of vermilion, not too much, a tiny bit of it. Maybe I will poke into my, tube like this to take a little bit of it, not too much, because it's I don't want to use too much of it. I want to take a little bit of it, put it like this. And I have a little bit of yellow ochre left over, so I can blend it slightly, ever so slightly. So it's like looks like a skin color. Looks like a skin color. And that's what I want to take ever so lightly to work on lip. Mhm. I don't want a detailing of the colors, so it's looking like the skin color that's already there for Radha. Yeah, I'm just working on that to do the lip space. Remember the flatten the M. So I'm not doing any detail, but you can see that it's ever so lightly, filled in. Yeah, and the nose area also. mm, Ever so lightly filled in. I think that is okay for now. I didn't want to do much on that, um, except for this, just to have it filled in, to knock it off. And right now, I'm going to take, like I said, I'm going to take a bit of black. And to that, I'm going to add a burnt umber, and I will show you the proportion that I'm going to work on. Yeah. So I'm taking burnt umber, and I will show you how I'm taking, how much I'm taking. So that's how much. Yeah. I'm going to take a tiny bit of black, ivory black. That's ivory black, a very old, good old color. hmm So let me show you how much I'm taking here. If you see, that's the brown, and I'm just going to take a tiny bit of ivory black here. Not on too much at all. I think that's more than enough. Going to blend. I'm still using my zero brush, haven't washed it, don't see the need of it. These are strong colors, they will take over easily. So I'm going to take only a tiny bit of this black and blend that to the um, brown. So brown, or what do you call the burnt umber. So it is still looking on the browny side, but it is getting even darker, slightly darker. And this is mm, an ideal color where when one can color the hair or eyebrows or eye color, especially people of Indian origin. Um, at least, from my own knowledge, I would say my hair isn't totally blacky black. It has a very tiny tinge of brown in it. It's really hard to see, but I wouldn't use the ivory black entirely to represent my eyebrows or my hair color. It will be one notch down. So that's exactly why I have done this mixture of brown versus black. So it's a little bit slightly confusing. What is this? Is it black or brown? But that's how the nature of our hair colors are. So just to test it, I'm going to start working on Krishna's hair. So it looks like it's almost black, but it is not the exact black that we picked up from the tube. Yeah. So that's exactly the thing. And I think there must be some hair here that we did not do. I think I missed it. Yeah. That's all his hair. Underneath the crown. So I'm able to do this. And if you see how it looks so far, I think to you it will look slightly on the blacky side, but if you come closer, it will be slightly confusing whether it's a black or the darkest version of the brown, and that's exactly the color that I would like to have. Now that I have this color and I have tested it on um, his hair space, I'm ready to use this on the eye. So I'm just doing the eye so lightly, and I'm doing the eyebrows, not working into the details or perfection or anything. I'm just trying my best to just repeat on those lines that we did already. I just noticed that I didn't paint the some part of this, the upper side of the eye or the eyelid. I did not paint when I did the blue, so I'm just repainting it or painting it over with a slight bit of um, white and the blue, the remaining ultramarine blue that I did in, I think it was in class 7 that I did. I missed it, I think. So I missed it, so I did it. In case you haven't missed it, it's fine. Perfect. So for me, I am done with the hair and eye of Krishna. There's supposed to be a little bit of hair showing, head showing. I think I missed that. I painted over wrong. Yeah. So I have now filled that. Okay. So I'm using the same color for her hair as well. I hope you are able to see clearly. Just watch because it's there's a lot of ornaments that she is wearing on her head as well. That's slightly, confusing. It is okay if you have painted some section wrong. It is, I mean, there's no hard and fast rule about it right now that we are in only in layer 2. In case we go wrong, we wait for it to dry and do it over again when we are doing the layer 3. Yes. So try to have it done as much as possible. If not, it's okay. We can try to cover it up in layer 3. Yeah. Slow and steady, nice and easy. We are doing this is the strongest color that we are using since we started off, isn't it? So just be careful. Um, so I did that, and now I'm going for her eye. Um, Eyebrows, ever so lightly, and the eyes. Mm, I still feel the face isn't correct. Somehow it isn't. I'm taking a little bit of yellow ochre, blending it in so that it's I can see if I can make any adjustment right away, or if it doesn't work, it's fine. So it looks like it isn't the right time to do anything right now. So I'm going to just drop off the idea and I will rework on that face in layer 3. Yeah. So I think I have pretty much the eyes, the space of the nose, and the lips. In the lips, remember we did a very light tone, isn't it? The reason why we did a lighter tone is that we'll use this very dark tone that we just made, the one for the hair. It's going to blend, so don't worry about it. It's going to blend. So we're going to do the partition of the lip ever so lightly, mhm, ever so lightly with this brush. So whatever comes, it's it can blend in with the um with the existing color. Yeah. For now, it's just going to give you that angle. That's it. Just to be clear. So that's a smile angle. And you can develop it a little bit to see how the smile goes and so on. You can always come back to that old color, taking a little bit of the skin color that you did in case you want to see it again, come up and so on. I think this is pretty much helping me understand how the smile is and the angle of the smile. So we're not working on the details of the lip yet. Not yet. No, none of the details as yet. Just the angle of the smile to the smile really matters in these pictures. So just see how the smile is. Yeah. So that's about the face, the hair. What is left over is a little bit of work on the um, I'm going to blend a bit of yellow ochre into this darker color that we made to lighten it up slightly. So I'm going to use this as the filler for the peacock feather on his head. And I decided I'm going to go for only one peacock feather. I mean, this always are the options to look for. I'm just making it slightly bigger and leave it at that. So I am actually done with the overall blocking on the face. So I'm ready to move on to the background as such. That's going to take a bit of a time. So we will move from brush 0 to another brush. Before we move on, we are going to look at sky blue, primary blue, as a color option for the background. This is there is also cerulean blue if you like it. There's a lot of varieties of blue that you could try. I'm going to take quite a bit of it here, like here. Yeah. So this is going to be slightly different as opposed to what we have seen in the background of the references. We're going to need white. Yes. So titanium white again. You can use other forms of white. Yeah, titanium white works for me. I'm going to take that. So slowly, steadily, I'm going to blend this in. And I will need a... I'm thinking, should I use a larger brush? I washed up all my brushes from the last session. That's a good habit. Sometimes I don't do it and I feel so bad when I have to lose nice, beautiful brushes because I didn't wash properly. So it's always a good habit to wash right after the class is over. So you protect a lot of brushes from getting destroyed. I'm going to look at larger brush options so that I can move faster with this section, and also smaller brush options because there are tiny places in between to work with, isn't it? So I think I like this big round brush number 12 to go for. I will keep that aside. I'm going to start with the angular brush number 18 or 8 or 18. Yes, it's 18 from the small brushes. So I'm first mixing these colors. Always when you're starting with the darker color range, you don't know where you're going, start very less, don't mix it. I have seen children and also students doing the equal amount of mixture. Don't start right away because you're going to waste a lot of white not knowing where you're going with this color frame, and then keep on adding one by one part at a time to see what is fitting you. To be honest, I like this blue for the body color of Krishna, but let's see where we will go with it when we work on layers. It's always an option to look at. It's beautiful. I like this color range. I think I can add a little bit more of this color to pair it up. Blends well, goes well, does well. Yes. I think it is good enough for us to start experimenting. I will need a bit more of oil to run through. I think I have enough here in my lid, but I might need to refill when it comes to it. For now, it is okay. So right now, I'm just going to go around in some common place to see how things are. So the color assets look so beautiful on the on my palette. But when I do it here, it looks good, but I feel that it could easily dominate the picture. The same problem that we had with the green. I could see that. So what I'm going to do is to add a little more of white on this, right on this. So sometimes, this is a good idea. You're mixing on a palette, but I always say to my students, try mixing directly on the canvas to see what's going on. Yeah. So I'm taking a little bit more of the white here. Yeah. So going to take some more of the white here, and I will. So directly on the canvas, I'm just trying to blend in to see where the color is heading. Yeah. It could be even lighter, could be one more step lighter. I can see that. I'm going to take a bit of this color, blend it with the white here. So I'm just making it a lighter tonality, complete lighter tonality, and seeing where it goes. Too light is also not too good. So it can be one tone lighter, not too light. Yes. So that I learned by directly applying here. Yeah. So this is how you test. And once you have tested enough, I'm ready to take the other brush to push this color over to other places. So learn to push colors around and fill the sections as much as possible with the background color. So I'm using both the brushes effectively, filling it. And in your case, if you have chosen another color, let's say you chose pink, or you did the blue, but then it's another variety of blue. Maybe it is blending a little bit with the yellow ochre. It shouldn't. By this time, your first layer yellow ochre light should have dried up. It shouldn't. If it blends or if it still shows a bit of yellow ochre here and there, do not worry. We have other layers to go on. We will have many layers to go on, but try to attempt covering layer one as much as possible. I'm just making circular movements here. I'm showing all the movements. So you saw me go left to right, up and down, and also making circular movements to do the filling. I think we did the same exercise almost in our first layer. So we're just repeating that. But right now, I'm gonna need a bit more of the oil. So I'm going for our very good old cold pressed raw linseed oil. I'm pouring a little bit of it in my lid. I'm going back with my brush. I am painting over with the oil because I know that there's a good load of paint sitting here. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. So I wouldn't paint directly with oil at all. Unless and until I know that I loaded too much of oil color in some place that I want to push around. I wouldn't do it. So this is good enough for me to now use the small brush to go in between sections. These are tiny sections. Be patient with it because once you're starting to work on the bigger layers, you have the habit of moving the hand with larger scale. Then your hand behaves in the same manner in and around delicate places. Be aware of that. If you cannot manage between these two, I would suggest that you go for something like doing one thing at a time, meaning only doing small locations, small places with a smaller brush first, and then working on the larger scale areas with the larger brush. That's a good idea to go with. So I'm going to do it just like this, filling out only the small and delicate areas, or the corners, borders of the key figures. Yeah. So I'm going in between, very close to the eye here. See that I am filling in this place very close to the eye of Radha, and that is close to Krishna's shoulder. These are all delicate places. I'm using a small brush. Small isn't really small. This is a angular brush that I just started working with a few minutes ago. I showed you it's the same. But if you are really worried about using a brush that is angular, even need a even thinner brush, go for the zero. That isn't a problem at all. Go for anything that is comfortable. So here you see that I am working on the edges or borders of this is possibly the most challenging area, because you see that there is this peacock feather space that we made, which we recently made, so it's blending in. That's okay. As far as we can, manage to show the differentiation, we're still in the blocking phase, isn't it? So mm, if you are a perfectionist and are finding it difficult, oh, things are blending, do not get nervous about it. Um, yes, it does help if you have the layers correctly done, or the corner lines done correctly. So the next layer becomes easier. It does matter. I agree. It does matter that we do things correctly as much as possible. But hey, if it doesn't, do not panic. We always have another layer to work with. We make our best effort. If it doesn't work, we always um, can work on the next layer to fix it. Yeah. So keep that open mind. Okay. So there you go. You can see that I have pretty much worked on the negative space in between Krishna and Radha's face. I'm going to go down. There's a lot of sections where you will see that we have corner edges, fingers, so many nuances to worry about. Okay, so we are going to look at all these nuances, and just so that you feel a bit more comfortable about where my brush tip is going. I'm going to go back to that small brush which I used for the eye and so on. It's got a very dark tonality left over in its yeah, hair. So I'm going to rub it off, clean it off with a tissue paper, and see it's gone or not. Okay, it's gone. Most of it is gone. Yes. So right now, I'm going to use this to help you. So I'm using this brush and using that light blue that I mixed to help you show the lines that I'm working on. Yes, so I'm going to move the camera slightly around here to show you where all I am moving. So I'm moving slightly faster, but this to show you the edges. So I'm around the hair strands of Radha, coming down to Krishna's arm. His hand, his fingers, where you see also ever so lightly there is little finger of Radha showing up, and then the space where you see Krishna's hand coming down to Radha's hand. Okay, so this is the outer layer. Okay, so, and if you go back to the blocks, it's one, two, we cannot see the block numbers. It's all getting faded because of what we are painting. I'm working on block numbers 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So I am now looking at this small little space right here between Radha and Krishna's hands. This is also a blue. Marking this place ever so lightly. This is a very simple technique of, marking the edges, corners, whatever you want to call it, and then making it simple for you to paint on. So if I take this space is easy for me to paint on because I know that this is only the background. Isn't it? If this gives you peace of mind, I would definitely advise that you go for it. Yeah. Rather than the way I did it with this technique. So there are many techniques. You have your own technique that is different from what I'm telling you. And if you feel more comfortable with it, please go ahead. Do that. The objective of this session should be that you have filled in as much space as possible, blocked in as much space as possible. Yeah. In here. If you are concerned about how is this filled, is it filled properly? Is it going into every single thread, just as the way we did the layer 1? There's a nice technique to check. Use a magnifying glass that could tell you a little more story on where things are missing. Yes, so that's also a good idea to do. But we are just filling, we will go on filling this until we have done the filling of the entire canvas and it cannot be painted anymore. Yeah. And we want to let it sit. That's the aim of it. Let's see how far we are doing with the time. We might need a little more than this 1 hour here today. Let's see. Let's see how far we get ahead. Right now we are here. I'm going to come close to this arm and where she's got the bangles and so on and come down. So I'm going back to the zero brush for your benefit so you can see where my hands are, where the tip of my brush is. Coming down. Yes. So this layer where you see me having number 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to hide this off with the paint. Oh, beautiful. So there's not going to be any number anymore. We are done with the numbering. Rub it off with the paint. Maybe I want to use a little bit of this large brush. So it'll help me do the sides as well. Do not forget. Remember, we did the sides as well, isn't it? leaving a very thin space for the swings rope to appear, to show up. That ever so thin. If you see what I have left over, it shows that that's where the rope of the swing is. So I'm moving on with my large brush, number 12 round. And it is easier because I have already done the framing of my corners or edges, where the color has to stop, the movement of my brush has to stop. So it's helping me proceed a little faster here. So I'm done with this triangle, if I may say so. I'm going to move to that triangle on the opposite side and see if we can manage at least the upper half of this painting today. Yes, so I'm going to move the camera slightly around here so you can see a bit more of this corner. Yes. So I am putting down all these large brushes, medium brushes, whatever, going back to my zero brush. So let's do the same exercise on this side to speed up. So we are just marking the corners or edges around the crown that Krishna is wearing. Come down closely to the hairline. Remember, it's a very dark blackish brown that we use. So if it blends in with the blue, it could be a trouble. We can always fulfill things in or fill, rectify our errors in our next layer, but then try our best not to mix these colors. When you come closely, I am back close to the hand and the bangles in his hand, the arm. Good old traditional method of marking the boundaries. Huh? Simple but effective. As long as it makes you feel comfortable about doing what you're doing, just do it. I'm flowing through the hand on the other side. Yes. Coming down to the elbow. I see where the line or the of the rope is, but I'm not really bothered about it right now. I think I will leave it out ever so lightly, just the way we did it on the other side. Coming down through his, close to his um, arm, upper arm, and coming down through the Angavastram. Now we are close to his knee. Yeah. Just remember what happens when the blue blends in with the yellow. It turns green. Just be aware of that. I'm going to just point the camera down. So we are on the knee, coming down. While we are down, can we do something right in between? It's a very small space. We can actually finish it. Do you see this negative space in between Radha and Krishna. Very tiny space, huh? The hip area. We can actually fill it totally with the help of the small zero brush. So it's done. Check. One small little negative area covered. Hmm? So we are ready to go back to the knee area. Mark this. I think we will make a stop at 4. Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, the block. And we will just finish this, covering these two areas. Then we are making a good stop with today's session. Yeah. One thing I haven't done is that I haven't painted the top of my canvas, the upper bend of the canvas. I did the side, the one of the sides. I haven't done the top of it. I will remember. But also this one thing, if you are having to move around your canvas and if it is full with paint and you need um, space, you are going to struggle, then it's a good idea not to paint and wait for one side to dry so you can hold things around, place them in a proper space, and so on. You can spread some old newspapers on the floor if you're keeping it on the floor, or any place for that matter. I think I finished this side, so I'm just going to go over this corner. I'll just remember to leave a tiny space around this um, rope of the swing. It kind of looks incomplete, so it's easier for me to spot that angle. Yes. Yeah. The remaining portion of the 4, we stopped with the 4. We haven't done the sides of it. I think we will take care of the sides and the rest of the portion in our next session. Yeah. Slow and steady, so we can check if we have missed anything at all before we call it complete with respect to the layer 2. Yeah. Yes. So we are making a stop here. We are almost 80% done, I would say, with the respect to the filling or blocking aspect of our painting. It looks so good already. It is flat. What you notice is that it is flat. What is missing? The 3 dimension. That's why it is flat. And that is okay for now. From this layers point of view, we are just going to attempt a flat work to have this layer clearly done and at least define the spaces. Yes. So, yes, let's just make a stop here and summarize what we have done today. Today we went on proceeding with the blocking filling aspect of it. Um, we hadn't done the blocking of the eye, nose, and lips. To do that, we haven't done. It's a balance of not getting into details, but still managing to mark those areas which we have done. And once we are done with that, we also did the hair alongside. For that, we did take um, burnt umber and added a bit of black to it because the the Indian origin skin color, the eye color, and especially the hair color looks really on the blacker zone. Um, but it isn't really blacky black, as in the ivory black or Mars black that you would have um, purchased in your paint set, oil paint set. So that's exactly not the black of the hair. So I have added a tinge of black to the burnt umber to get it close to the color range of the Indian origin hair strands or whatever. Yep. So that we did. And also the next step was to decide on the background. I have picked up a sky blue. It's up to you to choose anything else that you would like to work with. I chose to do a sky blue, so I took sky blue and added titanium white to it to start filling out the space. Um, I showed you the technique of using angular brush and going in between minor spaces versus using a zero brush, um, and marking those edges, corners, layers to be very sure, and then using larger brushes in definite spaces where there are there's a background space, it for clear. So for sure, so you we did that today, and we have made a hard stop here. We will continue in the next class doing the same thing on the other half of the canvas, making sure that the entire canvas is filled with layer 2 paint. Yes, that's going to be our next class. Thank you very much for following this. Thank you again. Bye.